girls then and now versus men then and now. I'm sorry, but who wears cheetah print tops in 2020? Maybe in like 2006 or something, but I've never seen a girl wear a cheetah print top. Aw, don't you miss the old days? You know, when women had no rights, black people were treated like second-class citizens, gay people were often murdered for who they loved, and white men exclusively controlled the nation and oppressed everyone below them? Yeah, not everyone was happy, but like, dresses in suits though, am I right? Lady, just wear a vintage dress if you want, it's not that big of a deal. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know that I made a video about trad wives recently, but I stumbled upon this Instagram account, and it was just so terrible that I just couldn't resist coming on here and, you know, making fun of it with you guys. The person it's run by, I can't tell if it's a man or just a woman with like raging internalized misogyny, but either way, it's awful. So let's take a look, shall we? A nation is created by families, a religion, tradition. It is made from the hearts of mothers, the wisdom of fathers, the joy and exuberance of children. And our caption says, what happens to a nation that despises all of these things? I suppose we're about to find out. Lord, forgive us. Okay, calm down, Susan. Literally no one despises these things. I don't know where they're getting this from. Like, have you ever met a liberal who hates family? They might hate their family because their family sucks or something, but I've never met somebody who just hates the concept of family in general. Some people hate religion, but they usually don't have a problem with like religious people in general unless they like try to force their opinions on others. And tradition, no one hates that. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise your children while your husband's the breadwinner and, you know, wear fancy vintage dresses or whatever you want, go for it. No one cares. We despise when you get on Instagram and start shaming everybody else who doesn't have the same lifestyle as you. And it's weird because these are the people that call everybody else snowflakes, but then they have such a victim mentality themselves. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a woman, you want to like work outside the home? That has literally nothing to do with me at all, but I take that as a very personal attack. Like, shut up. No. Okay, she actually does have a good point here. I just thought that image was hilarious. It has the same vibes as those like cheesy anti-drug videos that you'd see in middle school. The ones that are like, wow, I guess doing cocaine every day at age 12 isn't good for your health. Like, yeah, no duh. No one does cocaine because they love its health benefits. But she does say not to support Pornhub because it exploits people, which is true. I've never seen porn, but I've heard a lot of things about how like Pornhub doesn't regulate their content correctly, and so a lot of awful things end up on their channel. Videos of sexual assault, child exploitation, just non-consensual stuff. And that's terrifying because so many people watch that stuff. So if you do want to indulge in some adult content, OnlyFans. I think OnlyFans is a really good platform for sex workers because they control what they post and when they post. No one is telling them what to do. You're paying them directly and they can upload whatever they want to and they don't have to feel pressure to do certain things. So yeah, Pornhub bad, OnlyFans good. Non-conformist girl in the 80s, non-conformist girl in 2020. That is literally just a girl wearing a skirt and a hat. She looks cute, I like her fit. But no one would look at her and be like, ugh, ew, are you like covering your shoulders? Disgusting. You're not oppressed because you dress modestly. I've dressed modestly my entire life and nobody has ever bullied me or like harassed me for it. No one cares. This is a photo of some boy that says, he who stands for tradition stands the longest. I mean, yeah, I guess. Because if you stand for tradition, and by that I mean that not only are you traditional, but you like want everybody else to be just like you, then society is always changing and progressing. So if you're always wanting to bring society back to one point, you're going to be standing the longest. Because you're constantly going to be angry at everybody else for not being traditional too. Because if society is always changing and progressing and you're just a little baby who, you know, can't comprehend other ideas and is scared of change, then you're going to be angry for the longest. So I guess, yeah. The caption says, children need their fathers. In a world where gender is fake, gender roles are mocked, and masculinity is called toxic, be a man who steps up to the plate anyways. Who the heck has ever said that children don't need their dads? I mean, single parents can still love and care for their children and raise great kids. I don't think that single parents aren't capable of doing that by any means. But no one's ever been like, oh, you've got two parents that love each other and are married still? Loser. No one gets made fun of for having a two-parent household. And no one is saying that gender is fake. I don't know where you're getting that. Saying that transgender and non-binary people exist doesn't mean that gender is fake. Like, that makes no sense. Yeah, I'm a girl and I'm transgender. Oh, so you think that gender doesn't exist? That was not what I was saying.
That wasn't what I was telling you. But all right. Let's talk about this entirely new topic.
That makes no sense. And for the last time, even though I know it's not going to be the last time, but for the last time, Masculinity is not toxic. No one is saying that. Toxic masculinity does not mean that masculinity in and of itself is toxic. Just like how the phrase toxic relationships doesn't mean that all relationships are toxic. We're saying that teaching boys and men from a young age that they have to be a certain way because they're a man, that they have to wear certain clothes or play with certain toys or just act a certain way because they're a man is toxic. I don't care if you're masculine. Be as masculine as you want. I don't care. What I care is that you're not shaming other people for not being masculine. Because that's just rude. You can be masculine or feminine or whatever you want. I don't care. Just don't be rude to other people for not being like you. That's literally all. And I think they genuinely know that. I think they're just purposely misinterpreting the argument so that it's easier for them to debunk. What are your intentions with me? To love you, marry you, and serve God with you, and then get married. There's nothing actually wrong with this post. I just thought it was funny that she's dressed in some vintage 1900s gown, which I love, by the way. I love her dress. And he's just in a black sweatshirt. So it's a bunch of photos of the 1950s, and it says, "A world that no longer exists. We destroyed it. We allowed sin to creep in and rot this nation. A time before feminism, abortion, gay marriage, hormone blockers in kids, low view of virginity, low view of marriage, children seen as a nuisance, postmodernism, decline in Christianity." Girl, if you are so obsessed with the 50s, literally just buy a vintage dress and watch Grease. It's not that hard. Don't come over here and complain that you were born in the wrong generation or whatever. You weren't. Literally, you can still do all these things. You can still wear a vintage dress and be a submissive wife and have a nuclear family or whatever you want. You can still do that. You just can't force other people to do that too. Start with all this, born in the wrong generation crap or whatever. Because some of us don't want to live back then. For obvious reasons. It's just so gross that she romanticizes the 50s, and not to say that you shouldn't do that. If you like the aesthetic and the style of the 50s, that's fine, But when you romanticize the political views and the social issues of the 50s, when you think that's good and you romanticize it, that's gross.
Disgusting!
I mean, she openly admits that she thinks feminism is bad and that she doesn't like gay people or trans people or whatever, but I'm wondering, she must be racist too. She's not openly admitting oh, segregation, it's good. But if she's romanticizing the 50s as much for their ideas back then, she's probably a racist too. Wouldn't surprise me. Train the young women to be self-controlled, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands. Imagine if women fulfilled their role in ministry the way God had instructed. How would things be different? Oh my gosh, wouldn't life be so much better and happy if my wife would just shut up and make me a sandwich? Yeah, I'll tell you what would happen if we made women do that. A lot of women would be happy. Because there are a lot of women who do embrace, traditional gender roles, and they like that lifestyle. They like being submissive, they like being a stay-at-home mom, and that's totally fine. You do you. But on the other hand, there would be a lot of other women who don't want to do that, and would be miserable in their life, because they'd be forced to get married and have children and stay at home and be submissive. And not all women want that. That's why gender roles shouldn't be enforced. Because everybody is so different and complex in their own way, we can't just fit an entire group of people into one category. Some people will fit in it and they'll fit comfortably, but a lot of other people won't. And also, having sex does not make you impure. That's a really gross and rude thing to say to someone. Teaching people that somehow having sex makes them dirty or impure or unworthy of love, it's just so disgusting. If your virginity means a lot to you and you want to wait till marriage, that's fine. That's completely okay. But don't call people impure for not doing that. That's just so mean. All in all, stop obsessing over other people's sex lives. It's weird and creepy. Self-love is toxic. What? Today, we are told to love ourselves. This is another invention for lost people who are trying to save the world, but only make things worse. Loving yourself might sound like a nice, inspirational phrase. It doesn't seem too harmful. But let's look at what the Bible has to say about people who love themselves. Okay, that's just a Bible verse about how you shouldn't be arrogant and whatnot. Self-love is a sign. God has let us know that the last days are upon us. Men will become lovers of themselves. I think they meant to say lovers. But how many other things on the list do you see as well? Self-love is not biblical. We must repent and love one another. There needs to be a comma in that. This person has terrible grammar. Putting others above ourselves. But that's what love is. This was so shocking to see. I know people like this have some pretty crazy beliefs and whatnot, but thinking that self-love is toxic? What? Loving yourself doesn't mean being an arrogant jerk. It means not being too hard on yourself and knowing your worth and appreciating yourself. Especially with body positivity, that goes hand in hand with it. It just encourages people to know their worth. I, for one, hate myself. Is me hating myself biblical? Because no one has ever told me that. Seriously though, imagine like telling someone this self-love is bad. Hi, my name is Angela. I've really struggled over the years with like body image issues and just learning to love myself, and this program has really helped me with that. After so many years of hating who I was and feeling like I wasn't good enough, I can finally say that I genuinely love myself. And well, you shouldn't. What? You shouldn't love yourself, Angela. You know why? Because you're a disgusting sinner. Oh my gosh, what? Self-love is wicked. Who are you? You suck. Does she even go to this support group? Repent or perish. So that's where we're gonna end this today. It's been fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a great time. No, I didn't. I'm miserable. Who knows, maybe I'm just miserable because I'm not a 1950s housewife. But thank you guys for watching, and before you leave, remember, you don't deserve basic human rights unless you're a man. Well, unless you're a straight man, that is. Premarital sex makes you disgusting and unworthy of love. And you deserve to hate yourself. Hope you learned something. So, as always, please comment down some suggestions, and I will see you guys next time. Stay safe, y'all.